I knew the Wall Street Journal would do it. I knew it. So inflation numbers came out fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. We're averaging the 12-month annualized inflation is 2.4%. We actually had a decline in the inflation for food. Food at home went down 0.4%. And it's good stuff across the board. The biggest thing on inflation was shelter. And again, I always chuckle at inflation being so heavy, CPI being so heavy for shelter, because did your shelter go up at all this last month? No, it's stupid, man. It's dumb. Your shelter didn't go up, mine didn't go up, but property taxes, okay. Well, let's look at property tax. Let's say you spend $100,000 a year. Let's say you pay $5,000 a year in property taxes. That means 5% of your spending is property taxes, all right? But housing costs. What other housing costs are there? Mortgage? You got a fixed mortgage like I do? Your housing costs didn't go up at all? What other housing costs would there be? Maintenance? All right, maintenance isn't part of the CPI necessarily, but let's just say that it is, because owner equivalent rent, how much it costs to rent your house back to? Okay. Is maintenance an average everyday thing? Let's just say okay, but even if that's the case, let's say you spend $5,000 a year in property taxes, $5,000 a year on maintenance, all right? How much did your costs actually go up this year? Well, remember, that's 10% of your overall expenditures on property tax and maintenance, 10%. What does CPI view your shelter costs? If we include OER, the overall thing for shelter and housing costs, it's about, 40% or something like that, 42%, I can't remember exactly. But basically they're saying for every $100,000 you spend, $40,000 is going to shelter. All right, that's just, or housing costs, that's just stupid. So anyway, this is why the whole point about inflation numbers are so suspect when you factor in housing costs. But what does matter is your day-to-day food. I just got back from Costco. Food goes up, food goes down, food goes up more than it goes down. So our inflation should be measured in things we spend on a daily basis, food, gas, whole thing. Anyway, so food went down. Shelter went up, all right? I think energy prices across the board went down, but don't quote me on that, I just can't remember. But anyway, it was point being is, what does the Wall Street Journal say? Inflation ticked up 0.2%, which means we have a 2.4% annualized inflation number, which is insanely low, insanely low. We used to try to have a target of 3%. Now in the low inflationary time, which of course coincided with low interest rates, kind of crazy, we have a 2% target for the Fed. So we're at 2.4%, dude. But what does the Wall Street Journal say? Inflation's ticking up. A hint at Trump's tariffs. Dude. The Wall Street Journal, you guys, you're like becoming Forbes magazine, man. And then National Review magazine. You guys have just lost your mojo. I get it that you want unlimited immigration to basically take care of your rich, fancy houses in the Hamptons. I get that. But my lands, to absolutely say inflation ticks up, hinting at Trump's tariffs. And why did it tick up? Because in March, inflation was down. And down, the month-to-month inflation was down. So the month-to-month inflation goes up from negative 0.01 or negative 0.1 to positive 0.2. And the Wall Street Journal is actually saying that's ticking up because of Trump's tariffs. Dude, you've got to be a maroon to actually write that headline. You really have to be dumb. I'm sorry. It's so friggin' stupid. The annualized inflation rate, and I don't know what it was, I think it was 2.6 last month actually, and now it's 2.4. Don't quote me on that either. But anything below 3 is a win. Now remember, these are just decelerating inflation numbers coming off a massive inflation from 2021, 2022, and 2023. So while these are decelerating, we're still using the baseline is way up from before. I mean, this is the thing I think a lot of people forget, and sometimes myself included. They say, okay, we were at $100,000 for simplicity in 2020. Then it went up to 130 by the end of 2023, and now we're still above 130. So we're still way above where we were in 2020. That's the drawback. But from an acceleration is a decelerating inflation, and anyone who says otherwise just needs to go pound sand. And anyone who says, oh, because of Trump's tariffs, I mean, you're just freaking idiot. I can't trust the Wall Street Journal. You can't. Because this is just dumb, dude. Dumb. Food inflation's down. I just, the energy prices, gasoline. I just got Costco's $2.75 a gallon down. I mean, the whole thing is just stupid, man. And it's so embarrassing because it's just partisan. And I hate that crap. But you're partisan too. I mean, I am, but I'm also not. At the end of the day, I'm still one of the things they let Trump win because they needed to get rid of the Green New Deal stuff because they knew that we would be in massive world of hurt. Hey, Auburn. Kids going to Auburn right there. So is my son. They knew we'd be in a massive world of hurt if they keep pushing the Green New Deal stuff. So they said, we got to get a guy to come in there and arrest this because we can't deal with this, an increasing electricity demand society for AI and whatnot. So they let Trump win. Because look, at the end of the day, if they could have stopped Trump from winning in 2020, they certainly could have stopped him winning in 2024 when they had governorships of Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan. All right, they could have easily done that too. I mean, hell, but they let him win for some reason. I don't know why, but who knows? I'm just glad he won. But at the end of the day, and I'm still the one who's still pissed off about Trump in 2020. I am. So don't say I'm a partisan. No, I'm absolutely partisan. I don't pretend not to be. But I still call it like I see it. And if Trump's acting like a fool, I'll call him out. And putting a thing of the Pope as Trump as the Pope as an act like a fool. I just find that funny as hell, dude. Trump cracks me up. What did he do yesterday about he knew some fat guy, and some fat guy was saying he was taking some weight loss shot, and he had to go to Europe where it's like, I don't know, $18, but in America it's like $18,000 or something like that. And Trump said to this fat guy, well, it's not working, Chuck. It's a comedian, man. I love it. Anyway, Wall Street Journal pound sand. You're not even funny. You're just a partisan hack. And it's like Jonah Goldberg. Look, dude, if I want to read Jonah Goldberg, I'd read, I don't even know if The Bulwark or whatever the hell it's called. Ugh, just save me from myself. All right, I got to get behind Slowpoke Rodriguez here. Oh my goodness, Slowpoke Rodriguez. Remember what Slowpoke Rodriguez carries, though, so you don't ever want to encroach on Slowpoke Rodriguez because he's always got something, and you know what he's got. So put in the show notes if you know what Slowpoke Rodriguez carries. The best character ever on Mel Blanc stuff. That was that Looney Tunes. All right, God bless.